So, what is griefing in Star Citizen? This has been a question that raises several videos each quarter. Several high tier mainstream content creators that play Star Citizen either full time or part time will post a video or make a statement on what they believe griefing is. Well, the last time the developers ever talked about griefing was actually 4 years ago. And one of my buddies, his name is Sil. He runs an org, or he helps run an org called Pax Mortis. He's a good friend of mine. They are high tier PvPers. At least I think they are. They're in the PvP community. I have only been able to beat them through scummy tactics, and it wasn't like I beat them often. It was literally one time. They're pretty good PvPers, and in response to what I assume is probably some letters from CIG to people within the PvP community. If you don't know what the PvP community is, it's this nebulous just region of everyone that fights in PvP. They exist in their different orgs, but because they spend so much time together, there is kind of a community, and whether they respect each other or not, they know who each other are, and sometimes they communicate between each other. And so Sil had reached out to Xylo CIG and sent a response, and it's included in the description of this video, of what he believes is needed for the next step in the PvP community. There is some stuff, I guess, going on, especially with, he uses some quotes in here that I assume are from letters from CIG that talk about participation in disruption of a large event, or large event disruption will be met with sanctions against those committing them. The most recent large event, and I don't know, he doesn't seem to be implying that this is in response to the most recent large event, but the most recent one was the Atmo Esports Daymar Rally. I run an org called the Ragtag Mercs. It's a fun org of space dads, or at least recovering space dads and keyboard warriors, and we were invited to come help with security, and it was awesome. It was a great opportunity. We sat for 7 hours until we were able to finally launch our server. It was a huge, just really long day. And we got in, and immediately we were getting hit with people, and several other servers had the same story. And those people were an organized group that we know who they are, but I'm not going to name them because I'm not trying to attack them. They exist to play their gameplay, and CIG is allowing them to do it. But it seems like a large-scale disruption will be met with sanctions against those committing them would pertain to that sort of event. And so Sil's basic arguments, he has 4 bullet points here. He says, what constitutes an event that is deemed large enough or high profile enough that surprise combat would be deemed gameplay disruption? What would be the criteria for determining a large scale disruption? What would be considered premeditated targeting? And 4, premeditated targeting of individuals or scheduled events implies that the simple act of planning an attack on anyone is a violation, that any and all combat has to be random and organic. This seems like those who would target planned events are the violators of something like this, at least from Sil's perspective, that if they see through someone's Discord or through their Twitch schedule or anything like that, that they are doing some large event and they plan on attacking that or a said event, they are the ones violating this thing. And so he says, and this is his goal, his statement, even though his title is metagaming, player organized events and organized warfare, metagaming being using exterior processes to figure out things that you wouldn't ordinarily know in game, like being in someone's Discord or watching their Twitch stream. He says, our goal is to clear up any confusion or misunderstanding in what is and what is not acceptable gameplay and player interactions, so we can continue to engage with the community in ways that are approved and beneficial to the direction and future of Star Citizen. We respectfully await your response. And then he has himself, several other people, several other orgs. I was not included, and I'm slightly offended, but I'm not that big, so I shouldn't be that offended, but it's whatever. I just thought we were friends, Sil. Anyway, he posted this. It's been 4 years since Xylo has responded on the topic. It's been, I don't know how long it's been since someone has posted anything like this, but I imagine with how often it comes up, it gets posted a lot. But Xylo decided to respond. Whoa. He says, I've been following the recent discussion and I appreciate the concerns raised by the PvP focused community. He responds, and as you can see with the amount of replies that it has been, I don't know if it was met with the response that he was wanting for. He basically reiterates what their stance on was before. He says, within CIG, we have a considerable number of staff members who actively prefer piracy and PvP focused content, myself included. Known for my pirate-clad office in the Austin studio, we are committed to maintaining an environment where such gameplay is not only welcome but embraced. Regular PvP and piracy leaning activities are not only accepted but encouraged within the parameters of fair play. Then he says this, we also acknowledge the responsibility on our part to create a universe that self-manages these types of encounters through a robust reputation and law system, alongside a variety of tweaks and additions to appropriately balance the risk versus reward. As you know, today the game is not equipped for fair balance of player factions, at least not to the degree that we intend. And currently, an event weeks in the making can be wiped out with minimal effort. This has been seen more frequently lately, with pad ramming and A2 flybys commonly followed by videos mocking those impacted. It is also important to understand that our recent warnings were directed at a specific group, namely the specific group that I talked about before. I won't name them because I don't know how I feel with them, that we deemed as more radically impacting the intended alpha experience. Lastly, I want to clarify that our current stance is also not permanent. Espionage, piracy, and sabotage have their place in our universe, and we anticipate a more balanced and refined system to accommodate this as the game progresses. And then also included in the description will be Sill's response, which is really pertinent to look at, but it is kind of akin to a lot of other responses. I'm going to answer this. The thing is, I could answer this with several bullet points, and I don't know if there's 5 bullet points or 4 bullet points or anything like that. But what I do know is if I gave 5, then I would have someone in the comments giving me 5 of their reverse or rebuttals to my bullet points, or I'd have someone else giving their 5 bullet points. And the thing that I think CIG might be getting right with this, though there's definitely an urge that they're not seeing from the community, and I'll get to that in a second. I think you know it when you see it. I think you know it when you see it, and I think the developers have to maintain the stance of when we see it, we'll react against it. What I believe, though, that the community is wanting, there is this subtle, or not even subtle, want for clear defined lines. And then when someone says clear defined lines, you're going to have those people that meet those clear defined lines, and you end up with people that hit those lines +1, and then they get banned or something like that. And so every time you set a line, you're ending up setting up people for failure, setting up people for hurt, setting up people to get as close as they can to that line as possible. At the same time, Xylo also mentions in there that he's received several reports and they haven't responded to most of them. And what I think that reveals is that the larger community, both on the PvP side and the PvE or protection or the event friendly or the group friendly or the Twitch streamer friendly, those two sides, and the PvP is way more than just PvP, because I'm a PvPer and I've never had to run into this. But what I believe that they're wanting is to be able to trust those who are moderating, to be able to know that if they acted in a way that they thought was fine, that they would be okay. I believe also that those who report are expecting that there should be a response to it. There has definitely been some times where the line has been crossed and the person that crossed the line was okay. And I think that that is right. I think also that the community either does or doesn't realize that there are way more than just one company involved here. We have CIG, who's able to maintain the things that are in their game. Then you have Twitch or other streaming services, and then you have Discord or other communication services. CIG is not responsible for your lack of integrity in those areas, your lack of security in those areas. The only thing that ties all of those between each other is players. But what I believe is at the heart of griefing is just a simple illustration. I believe I'm a genius for this, but no one else is going to think that. I'm not really a genius either. It's just a simple illustration. And if we're talking about griefing, the Star Citizen community is not the worst. There are definitely worse places where griefing is felt in a different manner. But I play board games with my family. I love to play board games. I love to play card games. And one of those games is Sorry. Sorry is a great game. You have 4 sides. Usually it's up to 4 players. And so you try to get around the board with several pawns. And once you make it all the way around the board, you can get into your safe zone where you're safe from other people's attacks. But until that moment, someone can land on your square, or they can pull a card that sends you back to start. Now, if I'm a player playing against another player and I send that player back to start, that sucks for them. That wasted their time. You just wasted their Saturday evening, right? You just wasted 30 minutes or an hour of their time, and they had to go all the way back to start. But it was within the intended gameplay of the game. Now, if that player, or if I, decide to step out of the bounds of the game and punch the other player in the face, I'm doing something wrong. I'm intentionally attacking that person. If there are 4 other players in the game and the entire game I'm just attacking that person over and over again, I'm stepping out of the confines of the game to tell that other human being that I don't like them. That's griefing. There is an element of PvP that has to exist within the matters of the game. That's why for an organization that thrives on attacking other players or other players' groups, as long as they're doing it within the confines of the game, I think it's okay. I think whether it was a random instance or a targeted instance, if I was playing a different game like Ark and I discovered where another person's base is based on if they leaked something into a Reddit account or if they posted something on Discord, I'm going to go attack them. And I can't play Ark anymore because it just saps too much of my time. But it's the same thing. If I get something out of it, it doesn't even mean money or fun materials like you would with Ark or, you know, any sort of lootable things. It's just fun to attack other people in a PvP game. It doesn't have to have a gain with it. But if I do that over and over and over again to the same group of players, then I'm stepping outside of the bounds of what's allowed in the game, and I'm using things that I shouldn't do to send a message to another human being. At the same time, I've seen when griefers have griefed people in game, and the stuff that's said in chat is just not okay. Now, you can turn chat off, you don't have to listen to it, and those are other people. But I believe there's a sense within both sides of this argument that we're not acknowledging that the other side is full of humans too. And we don't know how emotionally emotionally mature they are. We don't know how great they're going to take it. And the thing is, CIG has expressed that this is both a PvP game, but also a game where someone is supposed to be able to escape their life where they might be bullied all the time, or their job sucks, or they get targeted by people all the time, and now they're just getting targeted more in game. And here's the thing, for an organization that attacks people, I've ran into people like that. They've sent me messages on Discord. I really believe that they're real people. I am friendly with them as humans, but at the same time, they've sent me messages where like, hey, we've ran into someone, they share a Discord with you. They said that they're going to hurt themselves in some way. We want to make sure they're okay. That's a solid response. Thank you for doing that. That's great. But also, I'm a PvPer too, and I've never had that response before. I've never pushed anyone that far. There is playing the game to the extent that the developers have allowed you to do it, to the extent where you can have fun with it. But if that fun starts to really hurt someone else, you're going a little bit too far. And I'm not talking hurting them immediately, because some of them just have to buck up. Like it is, you know what? It's crazy. The cargo runners that complain about being pirated. How many times have you been pirated? Not that many. You know, it's okay that it happened once or twice, right? So get over it. But at the same time, I do understand, Twitch streamers or content creators or certain organizations that get targeted repeatedly, time after time after time, even if they're trying to do stuff to make their security better, it sucks. But simple things: run your Discord better, run your Twitch better, be more conscious of those things. At the same time, CIG, start to hear what your players are saying instead of just giving a non-answer. Your players are asking for answers that are beyond what just their texts are saying, and that's on them for not saying it. But we don't trust you. There are people that are scared that they're going to lose their account for doing something that they thought was normal, and there are other people that are scared that you're not listening to them when they're saying they're getting hurt. And so saying something like, and literally they say that over the 4 years since I shared our stance, we've only intervened a small number of times, less than I can count on two hands, a figure significantly lower than the countless reports of excessive griefing and stream sniping we've received. That's not a good statement. If there is excessive griefing and stream sniping, you probably should have stepped in. If there's a reports of it and it wasn't true, that's fine. But if it was real, which I know that there are several places where it was, you probably should have stepped in. You're not helping your case there. Also, you're not helping your case at all in that you're not defining things. Please define things. But I've said enough on that. I'm hoping this video doesn't get too long. The first time I recorded it was 35 minutes, but hopefully this one's not as long. I just get going, and it's all on my emotions, and just thank you for sticking through the end. Hey, this game is a great place to escape, but your life is a great place to live. So be there or be square. If you're not there, no one will see you around. We'll see you later. If you like my content, give a like and subscribe. Join my Discord, hang out with me. I'd love to do that. So we'll see you.